Can I learn a language and have fun at the same time? Yeah, sure. Music. If you like music, and music in another language in particular, this video might help you out, as I will try to explain some basic Japanese used in different songs, because language used in songs is often way different than language used in everyday speech, and in Japanese this is no different. You can even use it to improve your Japanese listening skills, grammar and pronunciation. Let's start by looking at some basic examples. それは小さな光のような is a song by Sayuri, and it is also used as an ending song in the anime 僕だけがいない街, which in Japanese I believe people shorten it to bokumachi, which roughly translates to a town where only I am not in. Dake means just or only, and it's placed after the subject, which is marked by ga. Inai is the casual form of imasen. The verb is iru, to not be or exist, and you use it for animate things. For inanimate things you use aru, so that would be arimasen or nai in casual form. We see this grammar structure again in the first sentence of the song. The song has nice lyrics and isn't too complicated, but it does have some interesting grammar. For example, Sabishi-sa ni kuwareta yasashisa ga. It means the kindness got eaten by loneliness, or devoured. It has more meaning than just eating, but in English it sounds kinda weird. What is also weird is the order the sentence is in. The kindness followed by a subject marker ga is at the end of the sentence. So literally it says, by the loneliness it got eaten, the kindness. Or something like that. Anyway, I think this gives off way more emotion. And another thing to mention is a grammar point, which is kind of hard to understand at first. At least I struggle with it. Got eaten. It's a passive form of the verb to eat. In this sentence, kuwareta is the verb, and the thing that does the eating gets the ni particle. You can think of it as using by in English. You form it the same way when you want to make a verb casual, negative with nai, so that it ends in a, and then you add deru. For example, kau, kawanai, kawareru. The kindness, subject with ga, got eaten, kuwareta, in potential form, by loneliness, which is marked by ni. But don't get confused, because ichidan verbs, you know, those verbs that end in ru and don't require you to change its stem to i before you add mas or masen. For example, taberu, to eat, shinjiru, to believe, or miru, to see. They just get rareru added to their stem, which makes them the same as the potential form, the can-do form. So I can eat, taberareru, but I will get eaten is also taberareru. Okay, it might get a bit complicated, so let's move on to something else. Also, if anyone wants me to explain these concepts, let me know, because at this point I'm just making random videos. Reol, an awesome singer with an incredible voice and a unique style of clothing, if you'd ask me. I mean, look at that. Besides her beautiful voice, she sings usually very casually, and by that I mean her speech is casual. 僕はいつでも本当しか言えないし、とてもエゴイスティックしてるだろう. In this example and in many other of her songs, Reol often refers to herself as boku, even though she is a female, and usually males do this. But more than that, she says いつでも, which means at all times, 本当しか言えないし. This is kinda like the just we've seen before. Remember 僕だけ? But shika is used differently. In this case, to make shika work, you put it after an object and then use a verb in its negative form. So an easy example, ringo shika tabenai, I only eat apples. To make this easier to understand, think of it as if it meant, with the exception of apples, I don't eat. Maybe then it makes sense that taberu is in the negative form here. Then ends the sentence with shi, which is also quite casual. People use it to give reasons or an explanation. You just add it to your sentence after the verb, and you can even use multiple verbs and add shi after every one of them. Honto in this case means truth. I can always only say the truth, or a nicer translation, I can never say anything except the truth. So apparently Reol sings about topics like abuse in this song, and this actually has a deep meaning. You can see her tied up in a chair, not saying anything, and a father and mother while holding the ropes. She then says, shiteru daro. You know that, right? I bet you know. Shiteru is of course the casual form of shiteimasu, but daro is something that again, females wouldn't use as much. A more polite way to say this is desho. Now to something completely different, a song that does use polite speech, and it fits the music as well because it's very calm and slow. Still, there are elements of casual speech, quite a few to be honest, but the main chorus has these two unique sentences. どこにいますか? 聞こえますか? Later on in the song, the chorus ends with the following sentence. 優しい人です And the very last sentence of the song. 見ててください. Notice how all of these sentences are formal. They end in des, mas, and kudasai, which is a formal way to ask something. Now, something that I noticed when I first heard this song is that it's so clearly spoken language and very natural. No weird contractions or dialects or whatever. Really, I encourage you to look up the lyrics and try to figure out what it means. Because often, singers use words that are not that common. For example, I learned through music that asu and ashita both mean tomorrow, and they're both written in the same kanji. By the way, in Drop Pop Candy, another great song that Reol made, this word also occurs. 明日の方角へ連れてってよ. Take me in the direction of tomorrow. Something like that. I believe 明日 is just slightly more formal than 明日. And this is funny because in the chorus she actually does sing 明日. Actually, the first time I heard this word was in another song, First Storm by Hatsune Miku. Yeah, the Vocaloid. 明日のこと気にしなかったね. You were not worrying about tomorrow. Also, a great song in my opinion, very catchy and originally in Mandarin Chinese. And I would love to take a look at that version of the song, but sadly, my Mandarin isn't quite there. I'm working on it though. So yeah, with these songs covered, I think I managed to explain some basic grammar and hopefully motivated someone to go and use music too when you're learning Japanese or any language really. If you made it until here, thank you, and let me know if I should cover other songs as well or anything really. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, thank you and goodbye.